Jack and the Beanstalk, a first grade appeal project. Enjoy!
We read two versions of Jack and the Beanstalk. This is Giant's Tale, and George the Giant told the story his own way. This is Jack's Tale, and he told his adventure on the Beanstalk. We completed story maps after we read each tale. We compared and contrasted the events from the stories. These are two stories sharing a different point of view. We each made a telegrammy to share our thoughts on who was telling the truth, the giant, dun dun dun, or Jack, dun dun dun. We drew pictures using crayon, paint, or colored pencil.
Jack's Tale is the best. In my opinion, Jack's Tale is the correct story because boys like to have adventures. And I think boys would like to have magic beans that make a beanstalk because they would like to climb a beanstalk.
Everyone that thinks Jack's Tale is awesome! In my opinion, Jack's story is the correct story because Jack would totally trade a cow for magic beans instead of beans for a goose because the beans would be magic.
Giant Tale. In my opinion, Giant's Tale is the correct story because I would think a mom would love to teach a giant how to cook if he was sick of eating sheep. Jack. In my opinion, Jack's story is the correct story because boys really like magic beans, so he probably would like the magic beans, so he would definitely trade a cow for beans.
I like Jack. In my opinion, Jack's story is the correct story because I know that a curious boy would climb the beanstalk.
The giant is cool. In my opinion, Giant's Tale is the correct story because I know a boy who would trade a goose that was golden eggs for 5 magic beans. They are both magic.
Go Jack! In my opinion, Jack's story is the correct because a boy would totally trade a boring old cow for 5 magic beans.
Jack, Jack. In my opinion, Jack's story is the correct story because I would definitely help a giant when his leg was broken and give him food too.
The giant is the best. In my opinion, the giant's story is the correct story because I would definitely trade 5 beans for a magic duck. And I would trade a golden egg for a wagon load of donuts.
The giant is so better than Jack. In my opinion, Giant's story is the correct story because I would definitely chase Jack if he stole my goose. J-A-C-K, what does that spell? Jack. Go Jack. In my opinion, Jack's story is the correct story because I know that a curious boy would like to climb the beanstalk.
Jack is sick. He is the best. In my opinion, Jack's tale is the correct story because a silly teenager would trade a cow for magic beans.
Giant is the best. In my opinion, Giant's tale is the correct story because I would trade beans for a goose that lays golden eggs. Because I would want golden eggs. I think Jack is the best. In my opinion, Jack's story is the correct story because I don't think the giant would want to eat donuts, but he would want to eat Jack's mom's cooking. Giant. In my opinion, the giant's tale is the correct story because it has donuts, and I would have donuts for dinner, breakfast, and lunch.
Jack's cool. In my opinion, Jack's story is the correct story because on the cover of the giant's tale, the giant is stepping in donuts.
Go Jack! In my opinion, Jack's tale is the correct story because I would sell a cow for magic beans, and I would think the beans would go into a circus and see a girl flipping through the air. Jack is happy. Jack's tale is the correct story because it would be funny that Jack would trade a cow for 5 magic beans. Jack is cool. Jack's tale is correct because a silly teenager would trade a cow for magic beans.
Jack is awesome. In my opinion, Jack's tale is the correct story because the giant would be bored because it left him in his castle. So he would want to come down to be with someone, not just himself.
Giant. In my opinion, Giant's tale is the correct story because I would trade some magic beans for a goose who lays golden eggs.
Giant is the best. In my opinion, the giant story is right because I would definitely trade 5 beans for a goose that laid golden eggs.
I like Giant. In my opinion, Giant's tale is the correct story because I would trade golden eggs for food. Jack is cool. In my opinion, Jack's story is the correct story because a silly kid would definitely trade a cow for beans that he thought were magic.